What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the SWG podcast, where we discuss everything related to your strength, wellness, and growth. I'm Stephen Gray, and I'm going to do another audio cast, and today I wanted to share with everyone why it is that I wake up so early, specifically 3 a.m. And it's a really interesting story that I love sharing with people. I've done it many times because I kind of think of it as my superpower. I think it goes back to 3 years ago, but even before that, I was always an early riser, typically because I'm a morning person, but I liked going to the gym and getting a workout in before work. And even going further back, 10 plus years ago, I actually did a lot of graveyard work. And so I was always kind of used to being up at odd hours. But in the last 6 years, my average wake up time would be around 4:30 a.m. with the idea that I could be in the gym early enough to get back home, get ready, and then be at work by either 7:30, 8 a.m. like everybody else. But in the last 3 years, it really became something that was a really strength driving habit and personal growth habit for myself. So I shared in a prior podcast that in 2017, I started a consulting business in conjunction with my regular job at the time, working in homeless services at an agency here in LA. And at the end of 2017, I decided to quit that full-time job and go into business for myself and really try to focus on consulting. And I tried to marry the two by doing consulting and marketing for two fitness companies. But that's still tough. And, doing your own thing without a guaranteed paycheck is, you got to have a backup plan. You just got to. So I did have a backup plan, and it was a very humble plan. And that is, I drove for Lyft. So when I began doing that, I would actually wake up just like usual, 4 a.m., hit the gym, and then start working at 7 a.m., driving people to their jobs in the morning. I didn't want to do the nighttime party crowd. I knew I'm not a night owl anyway, so I didn't want to be up that late and then dealing with the drunks and the party people and all the crazy bad things you hear. I figured I'll just help people get to work, and at the same time, I'd have the freedom to be able to step away, park the car whenever I needed to, get back to my computer and work on my marketing projects and my sales projects. So it offered a lot of freedom in the schedule, which you need if you're going to be doing freelance work. But 6 months prior to that, I actually proposed to my now wife, Rosa. So the freelance thing was great, and with enough discipline, I was able to make a living with the marketing and sales and the Lyft in conjunction. But when you have massive responsibilities like an expensive wedding, it's a little bit tough. So what I started doing was I figured I've got to work a little smarter. So I started waking up even earlier than 4 a.m. And I started doing, I started waking up by 3 a.m. and started getting out onto the streets and driving people around before the sun came up. That started to become a little scary because at 3 a.m. there's still a lot of elements that you might not want to always interact with. But nonetheless, I did it for a couple months, and then I decided to go back to full-time work in the homeless services industry, and that's when I went back to an organization again in here in LA. But I decided, why not double down? Now I've got a full-time job where I have to be in an office at around 8 a.m. And why not wake up even earlier and wake up at 2 a.m., hit the road by 3, and by that time I figured out a way that I could guarantee almost 99% of the time that I would start every morning at 3:30 a.m. by taking someone on a long 30-mile ride to LAX. And I figured out with that pattern, I could clear $45 every single morning in an hour and a half, and then still hit the gym at exactly 5 a.m. and still be in the office by 7. So that was my plan, and I did that every single morning, 2 a.m., and I had a plan. Make at least $45 to $50 every morning, hit the gym, and still be in the office and kill the day. And so I did that discipline. Went to bed early, right around 7:30, 8 p.m. Woke up at 2, made my money, went to the gym, and then went to work. And I did that for an entire year and a half. And that discipline and practice alone, I attribute to all the success that I've had in a very accelerated period of time of about just a year. So what happened was I would jump in the car, 3:30 a.m. I'm in my particular area where I know people are going to be going to the airport, just waiting for that first ride. And I would default to old behaviors where while I'm waiting, I would play video games on my phone or watch a movie or something. And then I started to develop a habit where I realized I wanted to better myself and learn. And I've always had a passion for real estate, and a business partner of mine from the full-time job gifted me with a real estate licensing course on DVD. So what I started doing is, instead of playing video games or watching movies, I brought a little portable DVD player with me, and while I was waiting for that first ride, whether it was 20, 30, 40 minutes of wait time, I would watch the real estate courses. And that developed into even more interest in real estate investment. So I started studying about that. Another thing is I just wanted to make sure that when the wedding came around, I would also be a good provider. So I decided to start learning as much as I could in not only real estate investment, but investments in general, in the stock market, all different types of tools out there that help you do that. So I just started learning more and more, went into the YouTube videos. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, and I just started studying. Well, that studying took me into even more direction of study, where I started listening to folks like Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, all these different types of speakers who had really great messages. So I decided to come up with a rule that every morning I would be up by 2, and that was the first win of the day, was the discipline of just getting up by 2 and beating the sun. And then I would study and never indulge in any type of entertainment, frivolous entertainment like video games, movies, comedy, podcasts, none of that. Every bit of information that I would consume, every bit of content that I would consume before the sun came up had to have been something that would help me grow as a person, as an entrepreneur, just become more educated. And that really started to change everything, changed my perspective. All of a sudden, I was saving more money, I was making more money, I was getting into better shape, better than I've ever been. At the time I was 36, I'm now 38. And it really all started with just that discipline of waking up every single morning and sticking to the plan of consuming knowledge and information. At that time, when I first started doing that, I was at an entry-level position in the full-time job. I was driving Lyft, making $45 to $50 a day. Both of those things together allowed me to pay for the wedding. However, I went from the entry-level job in driving Lyft to now becoming a vice president of a real estate development company, the chief program officer of a homeless services nonprofit, and the co-CEO and co-founder of a brand new company that's going to revolutionize real estate and homeless services. And it all came back to the fact that I woke up every morning and studied, and I continue that tradition to this day. I'm not necessarily driving Lyft anymore. I retired from that after the wedding. But I still wake up every single morning at 3 a.m. I immediately take my vitamins, take my Arbonne Energy Fizzy, and I sit down at my computer and I start working. And in that first hour of the day, I can knock out 3 to 5 projects that would typically take me an hour each during the rest of the day. But just because I'm fresh, no distractions, got a good night's sleep, and excited to conquer the day, I'm able to get a lot done in a minimal amount of time. I'm in the gym by 4:30 a.m. and then I finish my workout, get back in my car, either record one of these podcasts or continue to learn through audiobooks, podcasts, you name it. And then the discipline continues, where throughout the day I try to always consume information on all of my commutes. I work all over LA County, so I'm constantly driving. So those are all opportunities to me to make use of all the time that I've got on my hands. Back in the gym by 4:30 p.m. Continue to work while I'm at the gym. Finish up by 5:30 p.m. Have dinner, get a good night's rest, and do it all over again. And that is exactly why I wake up so early. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of successful people in the world, from your Bill Gateses to your Russell Brunsons, everybody out there attributes a lot of their success, or the lion's share of their success, to having a successful morning habit. And as somebody who's very fresh in the growth and the personal development movement, I will say that I'm a case study in testifying that actually works. So I definitely suggest that it definitely can't hurt. Your success level will vary, but it will absolutely increase your productivity, efficiency, even by 1%. And to me, that's worth it. Again, my friends, thank you so much for listening. I'm Stephen Gray. This is the SWG podcast, and I can't wait to talk to you all next time. Take care.